House Speaker Mike Tiny Johnson just got some dreadful news about his job, so no wonder he's run into hiding. Possibly in a closet somewhere. I'm guessing. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. The ongoing government shutdown has pushed House Speaker Tiny Johnson into the spotlight. Since the shutdown began earlier this month, Johnson has kept the House of Representatives in recess, which makes a vote to reopen the government impossible. Nevertheless, he continues to claim the Democrats are responsible. Democrats, of course, have vowed not to support any continuing budget resolution that does not extend health care subsidies, a position overwhelmingly popular with the American people. And since several Republican congresspeople also support the extension of the subsidies, Tiny Johnson can't get a new budget passed. Appearing on Fox Business this morning, here's what he had to say about the situation.
Well, here's the thing. The mainstream media has asked me in all these interviews, why aren't you negotiating? Cheryl, I literally don't have anything to negotiate. In the past, when there's been a CR standoff like this, a continuing resolution to keep the government open, the majority party has loaded up the CR proposal with a lot of partisan priorities, gimmicks and tricks sometimes. We haven't done any of that. I mean, we're operating in good faith. The Republicans are trying to keep the government moving forward. So we sent over a totally clean CR. So in other words, there's nothing I can pull off of that to make it more palatable for Democrats. It's exactly what they already voted for. In fact, Chuck Schumer voted for the identical measure in March of this year and gave an impassioned speech on the floor about how it had to be done because it would be totally irresponsible to harm the American people by shutting the government down. The only thing that's changed between March, 7 months ago, and now is that Chuck Schumer is now afraid of the rise of Marxism in New York. That's his home state. And he's afraid he's going to lose the seat that he's held for so many years. The man has been in Congress for 44 years, Cheryl. He doesn't want to go home. He doesn't know how to live a normal life. And that is 100% what is motivating all the chaos right now.
And if that drives you crazy, if you think Johnson looks pathetic there, stick around. It gets worse for the man, just like his public appearances. Along with that appearance on Fox you just saw, Johnson also gave a press conference this morning in which he made a jaw-dropping admission. Did you catch this?
Now, the calculus and the strategy on when I bring everybody back, people have said, are you going to change your strategy? And I've said to you all very plainly in good faith, we don't have a political strategy here. I don't have a strategy. We're just trying to do the right thing. We did what has been customary here and passed a simple CR. Again, this is really important, and it should be a headline in your journals as well. This is the first time in history that any party has shut down the government over a clean CR. It's a clean CR. That's the whole thing. There's nothing much more we can do.
That still boggles my mind. He doesn't have a strategy. Well, no wonder Americans overwhelmingly blame Republicans for the shutdown. See our other videos for more on that. And no wonder Johnson constantly looks like he's getting screwed by his own party, by Donald Trump, or frankly, he often looks like he's screwing himself. Further proof he's the pass-around Republican Party bottom. Look that up if you don't know what it means, but don't do it at work. But I digress. Johnson's handling of the shutdown continues to erode the patience of the American people, and while he continues to dig into his position and refuse a vote to end the shutdown. And that position is making some major waves with voters. Earlier today, CNN made this shocking announcement. Now, this is a longer clip, but I promise you will feel satisfied after you watch it. Mike Johnson looks like he's about to lose his job. Take a look.
New polling just out was really eye-popping to me.
It was shocking to me, John, and it comes down to party identification. Do you identify as a Democrat or as a Republican? And traditionally speaking, this is a metric that has been quite telling of elections, and we'll get into that a little bit. Party ID margin, Dem versus Republicans. Specifically, I'm talking about Gallup. Back in Q1 of 2025, it was a tie. Look at how much Democrats have gained on this metric, according to Gallup. Their latest metric, Democrats are ahead by 7 points. That is a 7-point movement to the left. I looked at some other pollsters as well to see if there was similar movement. Among Quinnipiac, it was +1 Republican. And you can see, again, movement to the left, Democrats +3. You know, last year, going into the 2024 presidential election, that was the rare time in which Republicans actually held a lead in Gallup's party ID measure. That Republican lead is no more. Adios, amigos, eliminated. Now Democrats ahead by 7 points, at least according to Gallup.
And this is when pollsters call and ask you for your party. Basically, this is self-reporting of what party you're in, and now you're seeing this 7-point swing in what people are saying in this. And historically, what has that meant?
Yeah, okay. What does it matter when Democrats have a lead on party ID at this particular point in midterm cycles? Well, I want you to take a look back at some past midterm cycles. Okay, right now we got the Democrats ahead by 7. You go back 4 years ago, the Democrats were only ahead by 1 point. This doesn't look anything like what we had at this point going into the 2022 midterm cycle. It looks much more like what we had going into the 2018 midterm cycle, in which Democrats were ahead by 4 points. They're actually doing better at this point than they were doing during the 2018 cycle. If you average in the Quinnipiac, it's about the same. But at this particular point, what you're seeing is Democrats doing considerably better than they did back in the 2022 midterm cycle. And more than that, Democrats have been gaining throughout this year compared to what we saw back in the 2021 year, in which we saw Republicans gaining during the year. And what we've ended up with in quarter 3 is Democrats ahead by 7, much better than the position that they had going into 2022 when they were only ahead by 1 point in quarter 3 of 2021.
So 4 points was a good year for Democrats in 2018. 1 point was a bad year for Democrats in 2022. The number 7, where does that rank? What does that tell us about how
what
they
is that? Exactly right. All right, so we have 2022 midterm, we have 2018 midterm. Now let's go all the way back. We'll jump in the DeLorean and essentially look at party ID advantages in midterms. When the GOP gains House seats, look at this. Democrats were ahead by only a point. When the Dems gain House seats, look at this. Democrats are ahead by 8 points. Democrats are up by 7 right now. If this 7-point lead holds in the next year and it averages out next year in 2026, Democrats plus 7, there is no historical precedent for Republicans actually gaining House seats. The Democrats gain in every year. That looks like what Gallup shows right now.
Yeah, again, and this number right here for Democrats may be one of the better numbers they've seen in some time.
You got it exactly right, John.
All right, Harriet, and thank you very much.
Still feel like you're winning, Mike? The fact that you don't seem to care much about the cost of living, rising unemployment, and skyrocketing healthcare costs does not endear you to the American people, just so you know. So no wonder more people are becoming self-identified Democrats, and no wonder your prospects for next year's midterms look like you will be out of a job. Of course, Donald Trump's mad and maddening antics are also driving away people from the Republican Party, and Democrats are attracting new voters by showing that they can fight for the American people. Tiny Johnson is fighting for Trump and billionaire tax cuts. Not exactly the priorities of most Americans. And as I've said before on this show, part of Johnson's fecklessness comes from his being an accidental speaker. He should update his resume accordingly. I have a feeling he's going to need to send it out very soon. This is Occupy Democrats.